Watch mechanics completely lose it trying to fix Ford vehicles, and after seeing this, you'll understand why. A starter buried so deep you need to remove half the engine to reach it. Metal shavings left inside brand new engines from the factory. A clutch that died at 9,000 miles on a 2-year-old car, and Ford refusing to cover it under warranty. Bell subscribe, because Ford definitely won't tell you any of this.
Look what we got, man. I just mentioned this. 2019 Ford Ranger. Wonderful piece of fucking vehicle. Look at it. Big fucking XLT Ranger. You'd think there'd be a 460 in this, but it's got a 2.3 turbo, which is completely fucked, knocking like crazy. And I gotta take it out. Nowhere to get torque converter bolts out. Look what you gotta do. You gotta remove that fucking starter way up underneath everything right there. You ain't changing that motherfucking starter in a pinch. You are completely butt fucked from the ass behind with a horse dick. They'll ban this video, but I don't give a fuck. Look at this. Starter is right the fuck there. You see the light on it? It's buried up under there. What a fucking shit bird of an fucking engineering plan. Right where the oil filter is, which is shrouded up against the inner fender. Who the fuck thinks this shit up like this? What kind of asshole, mechanic hating piece of shit thinks this up? I've never seen nothing like this before. It's the worst one fucking yet. Fucking, how do you get the exhaust undone? You gotta fuck with this shit, rust it to fuck. No way to get it off. It's all shrouded with heat fucking protective coating to get the turbo out of the way. What a piece of fuck. What kind of asshole would put this together? They didn't intend for nobody to fix it. There's no way to get it apart. You have to fight everything off. I gotta take the intake off to get to this fucking mount, which has coolant lines passing fucking through it up here. This is how fucking slick and smart these assholes are. You see that? You gotta dig all that out and then take the intake off, take this off, stick a 2x4 up the oil pan's ass so that you can get the goddamn starter out, then fight in there to get the torque converter bolts undone. Isn't that fucking wildly awesome? Yeah, I'd love to own this. You fucking assholes. You motherfuckers at Ford, man, you guys should all be shot. You guys are fuckheads. I would never own your product, ever. I wouldn't recommend it. Any one of your vehicles, they're all trash. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Come and try and do this and tell me how fucking fun it is. Zero room for a man's hands. Zero. Fucking pathetic. I should yank the engine and tranny out together. Look at this suspension. Isn't that neat? Nuts and shit missing. No wonder it clanks down the fucking road. Perfect. You guys at Ford are assholes. That's all I can say.
The mechanic said it himself. They didn't intend for anyone to fix it. Not an accident. Not a space issue. A decision. The starter is buried so deep that to reach it you remove the intake, fight through coolant lines, stick a 2x4 under the oil pan, and pray. A simple starter job. Hours of labor. Hundreds of dollars. Ford saved money building it this way. You pay the difference every single time something breaks.
Man, if you needed another fucking reason to hate Ford, why the fuck would you put your battery under the seat in the goddamn work bin, man? Like, what the fuck? Like, every other manufacturer, right in the hood, in the engine bay. And when it's in the car, it's real fucking easy to get to, so you don't gotta pay for 2 hours. Fuck, I'm so mad I can't even fucking breathe.
This is gonna be another installment of Ford can go fuck itself. So I get that they had to bury the thermostat housing below a whole bunch of shit because it's a really compact engine bay, but still, fuck them. But why does Ford do this shit? Like, you have to take the alternator out, which, fine, whatever, not a big deal. Take out this bolt, then the instructions say take out the nut that's on this, and then you have to remove the stud. And they do that shit all the fucking time with a bunch of stuff. If you're gonna put a stud in a threaded fucking hole and then put a nut on it that I'm gonna have to take off, just put a fucking bolt in that hole. Oh yeah, and everything in this one's sharp as fuck too. I fucking hate Ford.
Hey, so what the hell? Ford, another great idea. Hey, let's jam a rack and pinion inside of a rack that you gotta take half the freaking thing apart to get it out. Well, welcome to Corrosion, Kentucky, USA. Can't get the bushings out, can't get things apart. So we gotta cut this whole damn thing apart to get it out. For that much spacing, to get that little tiny bit, just enough to get through the hole. Thank you for What the Hell Today.
So Corey and I finally got this 2.3 long block out of this Bronco. And this is our first one. I've never had a 2.3 out. So that's the old one. We got to strip a little bit down to put it onto this one. But we were taking a look at kind of the general engineering and how much of a pain in the ass it was to get out. And we were looking, and if you guys notice, this is the motor mount. Okay, you got a mount, it has a stud that goes up through here, the stud and the nut attach it here. If you guys notice, the oil filter's right there. This oil cooler and the cooler, which has two coolant lines, inlet, outlet, is all one piece. God forbid this chunk right here breaks, or the oil cooler leaks and has a crack in it, you have to replace the entire motor mount assembly just to fix it. One piece. Talk about fucking stupid. No bueno.
One piece. Oil cooler, coolant lines, motor mount, all one piece. If the oil cooler leak, you don't replace the oil cooler. You replace the entire motor mount assembly. This is not engineering. This is a parts sales strategy with an engine attached to it. Every unnecessary stud, every buried component, every one-piece assembly that should be 3 separate parts, that's not a mistake. That's a business model.
When you're working on a junk-ass Ford, and you can't get the coolant line to line up, you make you a tool to go up in here and flex the line over to pop it in.
And here is my personal most hated engine on planet Earth. They are absolute trash. They're garbage. I don't care if yours is still running, they're garbage. I personally have replaced 14 of these, and it's around 6 or 7 grand a pop. I've done many videos in the past where I've shown pages and pages and pages that I print off of Identifix showing multiple shops all over the country what their fix was for this issue with the engines. There's oil passages in the block that get crud and things blocked off, and oil pressure can no longer make it to the cam phasers. Cam phasers and timing chains does not fix that issue. It is a very, very serious design flaw with these engines. And if you watch that video with the link in the description below, you'll see over 500 engines across the country. And that's just the reported ones. There's probably thousands and thousands of them. I've made personally a lot of money off these engines. They are not good. Some people swear the cam phasers fix it. I learned a long time ago where my mentor where I used to work did a cam phaser job, timing chains. It lasted about 3 months and it came back clacking louder than the last time. We talked to actually Jasper, who is an engine remanufacturer, and they came and explained to us that they have to gun drill, really long drills, some oil passages that are in the block to clean out the crud and make the passages bigger, because it doesn't take very much to block off those passages. So when you apply oil pressure to the cam phasers, no oil pressure goes there because it's blocked off. Cam phasers are not going to fix that problem. Timing chain is not going to fix that problem. It's a design flaw and it's trash. I really don't like these engines.
He's replaced 14 of them, $6,000 to $7,000 each time. And the most common fix, cam phasers and timing chains, lasts about 3 months before it comes back louder than before. Because the actual problem is a design flaw in the oil passages of the block itself, not fixable without drilling out the passages entirely. Ford knows, the shops know, the fix exists. The engine still went into production anyway.
Well, hello there. Not happy, huh? Probably not.
Here we have a perfect example of why you should never buy a Ford.
2024 Ford Escape, 12,000 miles. After checking TSBs, GSBs, SSNs through Ford, I found that their special service message 52219 applies to this vehicle with the concern. The concern being that the coolant over temperature light comes up onto the dash and the temp gauge completely pegs for about 2 seconds while under heavy driving conditions. If the SSN does apply to your vehicle and it falls within build dates, then there's a potential for there to be metal shavings in your cooling system. When Ford was machining the heads on these engines, they didn't get all of the metal shavings out of the cylinder heads, so that it builds up in the coolant jackets inside the cylinder head, causing it to throw an over temp code by plugging one of the cylinder head temp sensors with metal shavings. So I'm just tearing this thing down, ready to remove the head. And every camshaft looks like it has 90K.
12,000 miles. Metal shavings inside the engine, left there from the factory when Ford was machining the cylinder heads and didn't clean them out properly. Those shavings traveled through the cooling system, blocked a temperature sensor, and the car started throwing overheating code. And the camshaft looked like a car with 90,000 miles on it. This didn't happen because of how the owner drove it. It happened because someone at the factory skipped a step and nobody caught it before the car shipped.
So what's the worst brand out there? Like, just say
Ford,
Ford,
Mopar, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, terrible.
So
Absolutely
don't buy a Ford, don't buy a Chrysler, don't buy a Jeep.
Well, they all, so that's the thing, like every brand has like good cars and every brand has bad cars. I would say Mopar right now, I don't even think has a good car out. Like I can't
So
think
what
of
is
a single
Mopar
one.
exactly? It's
Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep.
Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep is Mopar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And
I think they just got bought through technically Stellantis.
Yeah.
But I would say in the pool of the manufacturers, I would say Ford and Mopar or Stellantis have the largest number of issues across most of their products.
What are the good cars? What are the bad cars? So what would you guys buy?
I'm a Toyota diehard.
Lexus, Toyota, good.
Yeah.
Honda still makes some decent ones. Kia and Honda have gotten up there.
I used to call it killed in action for Kia, and now it's like a legit brand.
Yeah, I mean the Telluride and the Palisade are beautiful SUVs. The Telluride's even got the autopilot where it's like a Tesla. They had some issues, Kia did, with their 2.4 motors in the Optimas with just sporadic lockup. You know,
but they were really good about it though. They no questions asked replace the motor.
Recall, like massive recall, just straight replacing motors. Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, try and go Asian.
I feel like I'm absolutely raging at the moment, and I want to start this video by saying do not, under any circumstances, buy a car from Ford. Now, a few weeks back, I was driving my Ford Cougar that I got in 2023, August 2023, so not even 2 years old. I have done about 9,000 miles in it in that time because I don't drive it very often, and suddenly the engine just died on me. I was driving along the A1, and I had to basically the car lost all power, and I had to just sort of look around and then quickly go between two lorries, drift off down the road and park up outside someone's house on a little country lane. And the clutch had basically just completely been annihilated. It just stank. It was so noisy. The car was revving like crazy. I called the AA out. They got me to try and drive the car down the road, which obviously whirred and made loads of horrible noises. They towed me to a garage. The garage said it was the clutch. They did warn that Ford said clutches don't get covered by warranty unless there's a fault with it. And then sure enough, Ford have said, well, you know, there's no fault with that. But they have randomly acknowledged that the factory that these Cougars were made in has a fault with the clutches that they do cover. And mine was made by that factory and is one of the batches they cover. They have acknowledged that there's quite a common issue with clutches on Ford cars. They've acknowledged that I've only done 9,000 miles in it, and a clutch is supposed to last between 50 and 100,000 miles, and that even a faulty one should last at least 30. But somehow they've said that the wear and tear on mine is excessively high, despite it only doing 9,000 miles, and therefore they won't cover me for it. Now, I've worked out and been reading about this and so forth, and my dad's sort of into cars, so he knows this stuff. I would have had to have spent every single moment revving that car to try and specifically break this bloody pad on the clutch and the flywheel, I think it's called. And they've sent me pictures of it and said, look, you can see it's completely been rubbed away here and all of this. And I'm like, well, yeah, a lot of that probably happened in the minutes that I was driving it to park it to get off the road without, you know, being hurt. Ford are just completely mugging me off. They won't let me speak to their warranty team. Only the engineers can speak to them, and they have tried. The customer service people said they don't speak to warranty people. They have basically just said I have to pay for the repairs. And if I don't like it, go to the ombudsman. That's going to take weeks and weeks. I'm supposed to be avoiding stress. I'm not well at the moment, and stress just makes me very, very sore and painful when I'm unwell. And yeah, this is not what I need. The dealership have been lovely. They're offering to try and do it at a discount and stuff, but I just want Ford to fix it, and I don't want other people to get caught in this mess because it's a joke. It's like an absolute joke. Ford are just really, really being rubbish here, and like the car's still like, it's not even 2 years old. It's not even had a first service yet because it hasn't done enough miles or anything. I've looked after it. It's also supposedly, because of this fault that they're aware of, got some special software in it that's supposed to alert you if you start to slip in it, and I've never had an alert. if my car doesn't have the alert system, then it should have a special clutch upgrade to prevent it happening. I've not had that either. So it's just a mess, and it's so weird and rubbish, and I cannot believe that they're just going, well, no, sorry, we don't cover that. But I have to say, just don't use them. It's not worth the hassle. I can't be doing with the stress. I just got to get on with it and be annoyed. But I thought, you know what? I'll warn people on TikTok and on YouTube and everything, don't buy Ford, okay?
Ford acknowledged the factory has a known clutch fault. Ford acknowledged this specific car came from that factory. Ford acknowledged the clutch should last 50,000 to 100,000 miles minimum. And then Ford said, excessive wear, not covered. Pay for it yourself. 9,000 miles. Not even had its first service yet. She had to drift between 2 lorries on a motorway and park on a country lane just to survive the failure. And Ford's response was, go to the ombudsman. That'll take weeks. The warranty exists to protect the customer. Ford found a way to acknowledge the problem and deny the claim at the same time. That's not a warranty. That's paperwork designed to look like one. Every mechanic in this video said the same thing at the end. Buy Toyota. Buy Honda. Buy Kia. Buy Hyundai. Not because they're perfect. Because when something breaks, and something always breaks, you can actually fix it without removing half the engine first. The best car is the one that lets you get back on the road without a fight. Ford is not that car. Subscribe if you want to keep watching. And tell me in the comments, have you had a Ford warranty nightmare? Because based on this video, you are definitely not alone.